and welcome back to Tiikat's Christmas craft workshops. Today we're going to be doing a cooking workshop. So some of you may know that Tiikat is from Finland originally, which is also where Father Christmas is from, Lapland to be precise. So we're going to start by making a Christmas recipe from Finland, something Tiikat loves to eat. Now this recipe is very simple. It only requires 3 ingredients. You need some ready rolled puff pastry. You can buy this frozen as well and just leave it to defrost. Some jam. Now in Finland traditionally you fill this with a prune jam, and on the website we'll be showing you how to make that as well, but you can use any jam. I'm using cherry today. And also an egg. Now I've already put the egg into a glass here and I've just given it a little beat with a fork. So those are the only 3 ingredients you need, and you are going to make some beautiful star pastries. So take your ready rolled pastry. All you have to do is open it out like that. And then you need a knife. And with your knife, you're going to cut some squares into your pastry. So. Now in Finnish, this recipe is called joulutorttu, which means joulu means Christmas. And Father Christmas in Finland is called joulupukki. And what's strange is that pukki actually means goat. So in reality, Father Christmas in Finnish means Christmas or Yule goat. Strange. So we're going to cut some more squares. We'll just do 4 for now to show you. Okay, now using these 4 squares, you're going to take a dollop of jam and stick it into the middle. When these are finished, it's buttery, pastry, flaky and delicious sweet jam in the center. They're absolutely delicious. And you can eat them cold as well. Don't put too much, because if you put too much, it starts spilling over the edges. Just a little dollop will do it. Okay, now with your knife, you're going to cut into the corners. Now don't go all the way into the middle, just a little bit into the corners here. I'm going to move that out the way. What's great is if you use the ready rolled puff pastry, you get a perfect surface to slide the pastry on. Now, you've got all 4 corners cut. You're going to take 1 corner and stick it into the middle. Then with the next little bit here, you take the first corner here as well, and you stick that on top. And then you do the same with the next one, and then with the next one. And you can see we've got a lovely star shape here. Now press really carefully into the middle. You've got to make this stick very well, because otherwise it comes apart in the oven. Still tastes delicious, but it's better if we can keep it stuck here. So, now I'm going to do the rest. And while I do this, I'm going to think of a Christmas joke. Oh, I know one. Why does Father Christmas always get a parking ticket on Christmas Eve? It's because he leaves his sleigh in the snow parking. I found that very funny when someone in my class told me that one. I've remembered it ever since. Okay. Second star done, pressing it carefully in. See, these are really nice and easy to do. These pastries take about 10 to 15 minutes in the oven. Keep an eye on them. You need to make sure that they're lovely and golden, but not burnt. So put your oven on to about 200 degrees Celsius. If you have a fan oven, you may want to put it a little bit cooler. So maybe 190. Now, cut those ones quickly, and then I'm going to fold these all at the same time. One corner, then next one. what I've done here, I've made a little mistake, is I've got jam on my fingers. Now, if you get too much jam on your fingers and it gets stuck underneath where you're pressing the pastry, it stops it sticking in the oven. So this one may come apart a little bit, but it'll still taste delicious. 3 stars done. And, oops, did the wrong corner there. There we go. There are 4 stars ready. So take a baking tray and some baking paper. I'm going to move this out the way. No, I'll just do on here. So you put some baking paper down on a baking tray and then carefully put your stars on there. Okay, before you put your pastries into the oven, it's best to brush them with a little bit of egg, and this makes them nice and golden. So with the beaten egg that I've used, take either a clean paintbrush or a pastry brush. Just take a little bit of it and just brush it over the top. Like this. A little bit more. It's fine if you don't have egg, you can still do this, but it just won't be quite as golden and shiny. Some people like taking it out of the oven halfway and basting it in even more egg too. Don't worry if it looks a little bit eggy, it won't actually taste like egg. Okay. Now that's done and they're ready to go in the oven. Now, I'm very lucky to have a reindeer assistant to help me put these in the oven and to bring me another delicious ingredient. So here we've got Louise the reindeer. Louise the reindeer, can you please put that in the oven for me for 10 to 15 minutes? Don't eat them before they're ready. Okay, so my reindeer assistant has brought me a delicious bowl of gooey chocolate here, white chocolate. Look at that. So what we're going to make is a couple of Christmas biscuits. So I've already made a few before. So here are some delicious Christmas puddings. You may be able to tell that this is a digestive biscuit underneath. So for that you need some digestive biscuits. And also here are some lovely snowflakes as well. So both of these need this melted white chocolate. So I'm very lucky I had a reindeer assistant. Now, if you are making the melted chocolate, you need to we've done it in a microwave. You can also do it in a bowl over some steaming water. Make sure your bowl doesn't touch that water though, because it will ruin your chocolate. And if you are putting it in the microwave, put it in for 30 seconds at a time and stir it in between. Okay, so we've got our melted white chocolate. We also need for this, we need some digestive biscuits, as I mentioned before. I am using some red and green icing pens for the top, but you could also put some cranberries and even some real holly on top to decorate it. And you need some sprinkles for your snowflakes. You could do this without, but I like doing it with sprinkles. So you can use whatever sprinkles you want. I've got some little shiny white ones, and I also found some snowflake ones at home. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put something here so I don't get the tablecloth messy. So my wooden board here. I'm going to do it over this. So I have my melted white chocolate. I'm going to make some Christmas puddings first. So for this, you can do this 2 ways. You can either dip your biscuit into the chocolate or you can drizzle it over. I'm going to try drizzling it over to see if I can get the white chocolate to drip a little bit down. Now, so I take a little bit of the white chocolate and you just drizzle it over the top. Try not to put too much because it will drip a little bit and then you might get your whole digestive covered in chocolate. So just leave that to drip a little bit, like that. And put that down. I'm going to do 2 at the same time. So I'll do a second one. that drip a bit. So hold it that way. Perfect. Then you want to do some little holly at the top. Now, as I said, I'm using icing pens, but you could just use a couple of cranberries for the holly, for the berries, and then you could even take a little tiny piece of real holly and stick it on. But make sure you tell people not to eat the holly. So I'm just going to draw with my icing pen 3 circles next to each other. These are my holly berries. I'm going to do both of them at the same time. I'm going to move that white chocolate out of the way. And now I'm going to use the green and draw some leaves. Now, if you think of when you're drawing the leaves, you could draw something a little bit like a Christmas tree without the trunk, and then do a line in it, and that's it. So it's just like drawing 2 little Christmas tree shapes. And don't worry if you get this wrong. It'll still look delicious, and you can easily correct it with a knife or your fingers. I like getting my fingers really sticky when I'm cooking. And you can use this to colour it in completely, which I've done here. But for these ones, I'm just going to do a little vein in the middle. So just this one. My little Christmas upside down. Some Christmas trees there, and there we go. Now you can't eat them like this. Well, you could eat them like this, but they are very, very gooey. So it's best to leave them for a little bit to harden until they look like that. So I'll leave those there to harden. And I will show you how to make these quick little snowflakes. So for this, you need some mini pretzels. Now you can find ones without salt, which might work well, but I actually really like the taste of a little bit of sea salt with my chocolate, so I'm using salty ones. So you can either do a snowflake using 3 or with 4. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big handful of pretzels into my white chocolate. These, I don't need those anymore. And I'm going to stir it in. I just want to eat this right now. Delicious. It's good Louise isn't here right now because she would gobble this up in a second. So I've now got this. You are going to get your fingers a little bit sticky here. So for this, it's best to put a little bit of greaseproof or baking paper underneath so that you can actually move this, because it will mean that this doesn't stick to it. So when it hardens, you can take it off nice and easily. So I'm going to start with taking 4. So I put 2 opposite each other. Use the pointy ends. If it's not completely covered in chocolate, you can spoon some over after. And put them so that the pointy ends match each other in the middle, like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of extra white chocolate and I'm going to put a big dollop into the middle. Now this helps them all stick together, otherwise they will come apart when they harden. And I'm going to do one with 3 to show you. Now with the 3, you can space them out a little bit. Like that. And again, a little scoop of white chocolate. Look at those white chocolatey fingers. Gonna have fun licking those afterwards when I'm finished. Okay, now I'm going to use my sprinkles. So I've got a few little sparkly white ones. Just going to sprinkle them on top. It's best to do this when the white chocolate is wet. So stick. And I'm going to put a few snowflakes. Because if you've ever looked at a snowflake close up, it's actually made up of loads of tiny looking snowflake shapes. Goodness me, I can't say snowflakes. I've said it so many times. Right, sprinkle some of those. Pop one in my mouth. And now I have to leave that to harden as well. Leave it on your greaseproof or baking paper. You can put it in your fridge as well to harden quicker. Now let's see if my reindeer assistant is ready with my pastries so you can see them finished. Thank you, and well done for not eating them. Well, we've made 3 delicious pastries now because one of them has somehow disappeared. Maybe you count yourself lucky you don't have a reindeer assistant like Louise. So you can see these pastries are delicious and golden and look like beautiful stars. Thank you very much for joining Tiikat's Christmas cooking workshop. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to see your creations. Get creative. You can do all sorts of things with digestive biscuits. Now on the website, we have recipes for gingerbread houses and other gingerbread shapes. Also another Finnish traditional Christmas recipe, which is a rice porridge with a blueberry soup, which is Tiikat's favourite. And I suspect because Father Christmas, if you write to Father Christmas, you end up writing to Lapland, which is in northern Finland. So I suspect he eats these too. So please send in any pictures of any recipes you've done. The address you can send it to is on the website, www.tiikats.com. And you can also send it directly on the contact page there. And we have some lovely Tiikat stickers for all of you if you send some pictures in. Thanks for watching.